Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a news cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The All Progressives Congress APC has fixed the cost of nomination and expression of interest forms for aspirants seeking the position of national chairman at 10.1 million naira ahead of its national convention scheduled for next month. Details are contained in an adjusted timetable of the party's Congress's National Convention released in Abuja by the party's National Organizing Secretary, Sulaiman Mohammed Ragungu. According to the schedule, the nomination form for the national chairman costs 10 million naira, while the expression of interest form for national working committee positions costs 100,000 naira. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has brokered a late-night truce with Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, bringing an end to the strike that paralyzed parts of Abuja. The development is paving the way for workers to return immediately. The agreement was reached after over 3 hours of negotiations chaired by the Senate Committee on the Federal Capital Territory. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has convened a forum for media executives, producers, reporters, and on-air personalities in Abuja as part of efforts to strengthen responsible election reporting and combat misinformation. Ubong Usoro now reports.
Leaders of the factional board of trustees of the People's Democratic Party converged at the Libcam residence of the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, where they outlined a roadmap to reorganize the party from grassroots to the national level. Speaking at the meeting, chairman of the
The one-day forum held in Abuja brought together journalists from across the Federal Capital Territory to deliberate on the media's role in safeguarding Nigeria's democracy. Welcoming the participants, the resident electoral commissioner for the FCT, Malam Aminu Idris, emphasized that credible elections depend largely on accurate, ethical, and professional media reportage.
As the election approaches, the media will play a decisive role in the areas of voter education and public enlightenment, countering misinformation and disinformation, providing factual, balanced and issue-based reporting, and supporting peace through responsible headlines and narratives.
In his remarks, the National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Malam Muhammad Aruna, warned against the dangers of misinformation and disinformation, particularly during the election periods. He noted that false information has the capacity to erode public trust and undermine the credibility of elections.
On the state of our readiness for the FCT Area Council election coming up on the 21st of this month, your presence here today underscores the shared responsibility we bear in safeguarding Nigeria's democracy. As the rec said, the timetable and schedule was first published a little over a year ago, and we've since concluded 10.
The chairman of the Nigeria Union of Journalists FCT chapter, Ms. Grace Ike, in a goodwill message, called for continuous engagement between INEC and media practitioners to strengthen voter education.
Elections are not won only at polling units. Elections are also won and lost in the information space. In today's Nigeria, misinformation spreads faster than facts, and if left unchecked, it can poison public perception, undermine trust in institutions, and threaten the peace we all desire.
Presentations at the forum focus on elections in the age of misinformation, INEC's technological innovation, including the BVAS and IREF, provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, voting procedures, and updates on the online media accreditation. INEC says the forum is part of its commitment to transparent elections and sustain collaboration with the media. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Thank you, Cyril. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has taken a fresh turn as a faction aligned with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, announces plans to conduct state congresses and a national convention to elect new party officials. Kabir Hassan reports.
Leaders of the factional board of trustees of the People's Democratic Party converge at the Lipcam residence of the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, where they outline a roadmap to reorganize the party from grassroots to the national level. Speaking at the meeting, chairman of the factional board of trustees, Mao Ahabunwa, said the party was intensifying efforts to restore internal stability by constituting caretaker committee in states affected by dispute. Ahabunwa explained that the caretaker arrangement will pave the way for fresh state congress and untimely a national convention to elect new officials. According to him, the initiative is aimed at rebuilding confidence in the PDP's democratic structure, strengthening internal cohesion and ensuring fairness in the party affairs.
The PDP has passed through turbulent waters in recent months, internal disagreements, leadership disputes, and legal contests that have tested our cohesion. Yet, the party has endured, not because of personalities, but because of institutions, not because of noise, but because of restraint, not because of force, but because of fidelity to constitutional order.
The Board of Trustees also pledges full support for the Abdurrahman Mohammed-led National Caretaker Committee, insisting that the party activities must strictly comply with the PDP constitution and established guidelines. Ahabunwa noted that the board has a moral responsibility to stabilize the party, urging members to place their collective interest above personal ambition as reforms deepen across the states.
The decisions taken at various levels of the party, particularly the cautious approach to the conduct of congresses, must be properly situated within this framework. The delay in congresses was not an abdication of responsibility. It was a deliberate act of institutional caution, born out of respect for our rules, for pending judicial processes, and the supremacy of the rule of law.
The crisis within the PDP escalated following a parallel national convention organized by a rival faction aligned with Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde in Ibadan, which produced a separate national leadership. The Wike-led faction is currently in court challenging the legality of that convention and seeking for its nullification. With both blocs preparing for a separate Congress and convention, the struggle of control of Africa's largest opposition party appears far from over, further deepening divisions within the People's Democratic Party as it continues to grapple with prolonged leadership tussles and legal battles. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
The Senate has moved to strengthen Nigeria's emergency healthcare response, calling for compulsory stocking of anti-venom and other life-saving antidotes in hospitals across the country. Lawmakers say the move is critical to preventing avoidable deaths, especially in high-risk communities prone to snake bites and similar emergencies. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick has more.
The resolution followed the points of order raised by Senator Idiat Adebule, representing Lagos West, who drew attention to the tragic death of young Nigerian Ifunanya Nwangene after a snake bite incident.
Emergency medicines in both public and private school hospitals in order to prevent avoidable death and irreversible health complications.
The Senate unanimously backed the proposal, urging that compliance with minimum anti-venom and antidote stock requirements be made a prerequisite for licensing new hospitals and renewing existing operating licenses nationwide.
Be proactive as a government. I see no reason why most of our medical centers and hospitals all over the place shouldn't have medication for snake bites.
We don't have to wait until there's a fatality through snake bites. This is a lesson for us to be proactive, that we must take healthcare very serious.
Drugs are made available to our health centers across the length and breadth of the Federation. Such needless journeys seeking medical attention at state capitals wouldn't be necessary.
In his remarks, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, described the incident as deeply saddening, condoling with the bereaved family and Nigerians at large. He led lawmakers in observing a minute of silence in honor of the late Ifunanya.
The Federal Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, to ensure procurement, quality assurance, proper storage, and nationwide availability of safe, effective, and affordable antivenoms and critical antidotes for use in public and private hospitals with priority attention to high-risk regions. This is very good.
The Senate says the resolution is aimed at closing critical gaps in emergency care and ensuring that preventable deaths from snake bites and similar incidents are drastically reduced across the country. From the National Assembly, Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Many thanks, Anieti. Nigeria's fight against illicit drugs is shifting from force to the roots of the problem. Chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marawa, retired, is calling for a strong national response to a new people-centered strategy aimed at ending cannabis cultivation, rebuilding rural economies, and strengthening national security. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, the agency's chairman urged sustained support for the Alternative Development Program, Africa's first drug control initiative, focused on replacing illicit cannabis farming with lawful and sustainable livelihoods. Kekelomo Kerry has details.
Official data shows that over 14 million Nigerians use psychoactive substance, with cannabis accounting for more than 75% of illicit drugs seized by NDLEA in the past 5 years. NDLEA Chairman Brigadier General Buba Marawa, retired, says the alternative development models goes beyond crop substitution. It strengthens rural economies, reduces pressure on law enforcement, promotes peace in crime-prone communities, boosts food security, and improves Nigeria's global standing in drug control cooperation. The pilot scheme, recently launched in the 3 cannabis-producing communities in Ondo State, marks a major departure from enforcement-only approaches to drug control.
The communities openly renewed their hope in Nigeria and restored their confidence in government. They recognized that alternative development offers a dignified and lawful source of income for farmers, reduction in poverty and vulnerability, especially among rural households, improved food security through the introduction of viable alternative crops, and enhanced community stability and safety.
The NDLEA chairman called on all stakeholders, federal and state government, traditional rulers, development partners, the private sector, civil society, and the media to back the initiative for nationwide expansion. He also urged communities affected by illicit drugs cultivation to embrace the program and partner with the agency in building lawful and secure livelihoods.
By replacing cannabis cultivation with sustainable agricultural and economic opportunities, the program directly tackles the root causes of drug production rather than merely treating the symptoms.
The NDLEA chairman expressed confidence that replacing cannabis farms with sustainable agriculture and value chain opportunities will tackle the root cause of drug production, reduce poverty, and restore trust between government and rural community, as the Alternative Development Program may be the game changer in securing a safer, healthier, and more prosperous Nigeria. Kekelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Away from Kekelomo's reports now, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has suspended the selection of examination towns for candidates registering for the 2026 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination in Ekiti. The board disclosed this in a statement in Abuja by its spokesperson, Fabian Benjamin. Said the suspension is to enable the board's restructure examination towns to ensure closer proximity to candidates and reduce transportation challenges on examination days. And still talking academic matters, the National Examinations Council has announced the release of the 2025 Senior School Certificate Examination SSCE external results, with over 80% of candidates scoring 5 credits and above. The results were announced by NECO Registrar and Chief Executive Professor D'Anthony Bushishi during a press conference held at the Council's headquarters in Minna, Niger State capital. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, has officially laid the foundation stone for a new Center of Excellence in Public Governance and Leadership at the Yakubu Gowon University of Abuja. The facility is expected to become a national hub for training future leaders from across Nigeria and beyond. Global Television's Priscilla Obasi has details for us.
The foundation stone laying ceremony took place at the center site in Jahi, Abuja, drawing university administrators, education stakeholders, and development partners. Executive Secretary of TETFund, Sonny Echono, described the project as part of the fund's commitments to strengthening institutions through strategic infrastructure and capacity development. He urged the contractors to execute the project according to approved specifications, timelines, and world-class standards, stressing accountability and value for public funds.
Well, we are here for the foundation laying ceremony of the Abuja Leadership Center. It's a TETFund-sponsored Center of Excellence on Leadership and Governance. And this is a center that we hope will not only help to produce great leaders for this country, but will also provide a venue where leaders from other parts of the world will come here and share their ideas, give us advice, and also make declarations that will have that will reverberate throughout the globe.
Vice Chancellor, Yakubu Gowon University, Professor Hakim Fawehimi, expressed gratitude for TETFund's continued interventions in tertiary education, saying the Leadership Center will be a key platform for training, policy dialogue, and enhanced governance practices.
We've come to set up a national hub where research and training in these areas will be intensified. Many thanks powered by TETFund, but under the auspices of their university, the University of Abuja, now Yakubu Gowon Universities.
Also speaking, the director of the Abuja Leadership Center said the project represents a major step in institutional growth and leadership capacity development, expressing confidence that the facility will deliver lasting value to the nation.
Its permanent sites will provide a befitting environment for training, research, innovation, engagement that will shape leaders across the public and the private sectors.
The officials said that the center will serve as a dedicated training hub for aspiring leaders, including political leaders, public servants, and professionals at national and international levels. Construction of the center is now underway, and it is expected to stand as a landmark facility for leadership development, shaping future policymakers and strengthening governance capacity in Nigeria and beyond. Priscilla Obasi, reporting for Global Television News.
Imo State Police Command says it has intensified operations against criminal activities across the state, leading to the arrest of 25 suspects and the recovery of arms, drugs, and other exhibits within the first month of 2026. The Commissioner of Police, AIG Aboki Danjuma, disclosed this through the Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Henry Okoye, during a press briefing at the Anti-Kidnapping Unit in Owerri. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe was there for Global Television.
The Commissioner of Police, who was represented by the Imo State Police Public Relations Officer, says the arrest followed intelligence-led operations targeting kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism, drug trafficking, murder, and other violent crimes across the state. Items recovered include assault rifles, ammunition, vehicles, motorcycles, and about 1,200 kilograms of substance suspected to be cannabis sativa.
We also recover a total of 2 vehicles, which you can see, a total of 400 suspected stolen tires, as well as other stolen properties, 3 motorcycles, 4 arms, and 26 rounds of live cartridges, amongst other ammunitions.
Among the suspects are alleged members of the Eastern Security Network, accused of involvement in the 2021 killing of 2 traditional rulers in Njaba local government area, alongside other kidnapping and armed robbery operations. Operatives also interceded a boss in Uguta local government area, converting 35 bags of suspected cannabis allegedly meant for criminal groups.
Also among the cases we recorded is the arrest of 2 notorious drug peddlers. On the 26th of January 2026, at about 22:00 hours, following credible intelligence, operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit intercepted an Ash J5 Ford bus conveying over 35 bags, that is 1,200 kg of weed substance suspected to be cannabis sativa to criminal networks in Osu local government area.
The Imo State Police Command urges residents to remain vigilant and continue to provide credible information to security agencies. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
We appreciate your reporting, Amarachi. You're watching the live broadcasts of News Cycle. News Cycle continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
A very warm welcome. Sustained moisture is currently being observed over the southern parts of the country, while increasing cloud cover is expected over the central. This cloudiness will lead to high humidity levels, which may result in uncomfortable weather conditions, especially over the south and parts of the central states. Now let's talk rainfall. Light rains are likely during the early morning hours across parts of Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, some parts of Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Cross River, and River State. As the day progresses, we expect an increase in rainfall intensity, with thunderstorms developing particularly over the coastal belt of the country. These storms are forecast to extend inland to affect parts of Imo, Abia, Anambra, Edo, Delta, some parts of Ondo State as well. Temperatures are expected to be on the increase, which may lead to thermal discomfort. The public is advised to wear breathable clothes and stay well hydrated. And that's your weather forecast. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so very much for staying with us. The second part of this news broadcast now returns with business, where the federal government has allocated 881.13 million naira to total capital projects of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council in the 2026 appropriation bill, following an all-time high non-oil export record of $6.1 billion in 2025. Data from the 2026 budget proposal submitted to the National Assembly showed the allocation targets institutional strengthening, export infrastructure, certification, market access, and value chain developments across the 6 geopolitical zones. The allocation is included in the proposed 58.47 trillion naira federal budget and growing policy emphasis on diversifying foreign exchange earnings away from crude oil. The federal government has moved to end the practice of carrying electricity subsidy costs alone, announcing a framework that will spread the burden across federal, state, and local governments from 2026. Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Taminu Yakubu, disclosed this in Abuja during a training and sensitization workshop for ministries, departments, and agencies on the 2026 post-budget preparation process using the government's integrated financial management information system budget preparation subsystem. He said President Bola Tinubu had directed that electricity subsidy costs be made explicit, tracked, and fairly shared across tiers of government, warning that the current approach creates hidden liabilities and recurring crises in the power market. The National Commissioner of the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, says data protection-related activities have generated over 16.2 billion naira for the Nigerian economy, creating employment opportunities for Nigerians in the digital ecosystem. He was speaking at the media training workshop in Lagos on the backdrop of the National Privacy Week 2026 Privacy in the Era of Emerging Technologies, Trusts, Ethics, and Innovations. Dr. Olatunji stated that this significant revenue is supplemented by additional income from licensing and penalties, describing privacy as a strategic confidence-building tool that will drive Nigeria's digital transformation and attract investments. He declared data privacy a fundamental human right and a critical pillar for trusts, equity, and freedom in Nigeria's fast-growing digital economy, noting that the rapid adoption of telecommunications, artificial intelligence, robotics, and digital platforms makes privacy protection no longer optional but essential for national development. On the foreign scene, the United Nations has announced plans to deploy a peacekeeping mission to Uvira in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo to monitor compliance with the newly agreed ceasefire. Qatari mediators said the move follows talks in Doha, Qatar, where representatives of the Congolese government and the M23 rebel group agreed to establish a mechanism for monitoring a permanent ceasefire. The UN mission, expected to arrive in the coming days, is seen as an initial step toward stabilizing conflict-hit region, while the exact deployment date remains unclear. Preparations are underway, with Guatemalan troops assigned to the mission already departing their home country. Russian forces have attacked energy infrastructure in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, and the second largest city, Kharkiv, as week-long truce and winter conditions ended. Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs accused Moscow of having waited for temperatures to drop before renewing its targeting of energy infrastructure amid brutal sub-zero conditions. United States President Donald Trump said Russia had agreed to pause attacks on Ukraine's cities amidst the freezing weather. Moscow has concentrated fire on Ukraine's energy infrastructure every winter since its full-scale invasion in February of 2022. Now let's turn to sports, where there's so much of excitement. The Nigeria Cricket Federation has commenced the search for a new head coach and high-performance manager for the men's senior national team, the Yellow Greens, just 1 week after the departure of former Kenyan international Steve Tikolo. Tikolo's 3 years and 3 months in charge came to an end last week when he was given a brief send-off ceremony in Lagos by the NCF in recognition of his contributions to Nigerian cricket. During his tenure, the Yellow Greens won 2 regional titles, the West Africa Tournament in 2023 and 2025, while the team's ICC ranking also improved from 42nd to 37th. And that's a full circle here on News Cycle. Thank you for watching. As always, we'd like to remind you that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and Star Times, channel 276. We encourage you to subscribe and engage with us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe, and I'll see you again.